This podcast episode features a guest known as the Ghost, who shares his life story with the host. The Ghost grew up in Canning Town, London, after moving from Uganda at a young age. He describes himself as a troublesome kid who got into trouble early on in life. He got expelled from school at a young age for selling drugs to a classmate, which led to his first encounter with the police. The Ghost comes from a good family with hardworking parents who eventually split up when he was 16. He reflects on the disappointment and guilt he caused his mother through his actions, including selling drugs and getting into trouble at school. He also shares instances of stealing and getting caught with weapons, such as a shotgun and a revolver, which his mother found and disposed of without confronting him. After getting expelled from school, the Ghost delved deeper into selling drugs, particularly weed and cocaine. He also developed an obsession with guns and invested in firearms for protection and intimidation. He shares his meticulous planning and close-up approach to using guns, preferring clean and precise actions. He also reveals that he had a hit put on him at a young age, which he initially didn't take seriously. The turning point in the Ghost's criminal activities comes when he gets stabbed due to a hit that was put on him. This incident shakes him and makes him reevaluate his choices and actions. He reflects on the pain and consequences of being involved in dangerous situations, leading him to reconsider his approach to violence and criminal behavior. As the Ghost shares his life story, he acknowledges the impact of his actions on himself and others. He discusses the importance of being precise and calculated in his criminal activities, while also recognizing the need to avoid unnecessary violence and overkill. He emphasizes the need for clean and swift actions, reflecting his OCD-like tendencies towards planning and organization. The Ghost mentions his brief foray into music as a hobby and how it influenced his perception of gangster culture. He reflects on the disconnect between portraying a gangster image in music and the harsh realities of street life, where consequences are real and dangerous. He also touches on the cautionary tale of rappers who glorify criminal activities without facing the true repercussions of their actions. After the stabbing incident, the Ghost started carrying a shotgun for protection and began robbing people to make a living. He shares a story of a robbery he committed at a college where he attacked a boy who had previously assaulted him. He talks about the adrenaline rush and the risks involved in committing armed robberies. As he transitioned from drug dealing to armed robberies, he started making significant amounts of money. He mentions a high-profile robbery he committed on a politician, which resulted in a substantial payout. He explains the importance of building trust and long-term relationships in the criminal world to ensure successful operations. The Ghost recounts his experiences of traveling to different countries to commit robberies, highlighting a particular incident in Holland where they targeted a shipment of computer chips. He describes the elaborate planning involved, such as having a diverse team with specific roles and using tactics like dressing up as police officers to deceive security personnel. He also mentions the use of jammers to disable tracking devices on the stolen goods, ensuring a smooth getaway. Despite the risks involved, the Ghost expresses a sense of thrill and excitement in carrying out robberies. He justifies his actions by claiming that the stolen items already belonged to him and that he was merely reclaiming what was rightfully his. This mindset helped him remain calm and focused during the heists, viewing them as a means to acquire wealth without feeling guilty or remorseful. The Ghost recalls a specific incident where a homeowner fought back during a robbery, leading to a confrontation that resulted in him shooting the individual. He explains how such situations could escalate quickly, emphasizing the importance of being prepared for any resistance during a robbery. The Ghost explains his reluctance to target drug dealers due to the potential backlash and complications involved. He describes the challenges of dealing with stolen drugs and the risks of getting involved in the drug trade, which could lead to further criminal activities and conflicts. He prefers to focus on high-value items like computer chips rather than getting entangled in the drug underworld. The Ghost narrates a dramatic police chase that ensued after a failed robbery attempt, leading to a high-speed pursuit through the streets of London. He describes the tense moments as he evaded the police, eventually crashing the car near a crowded tourist area. His decision to flee on foot and his subsequent arrest highlight the dangers and consequences of engaging in criminal activities, ultimately leading to his imprisonment. After being remanded in prison for aggravated burglary, the ghost reflects on his actions and the severity of the charges against him. He expresses frustration at being falsely accused of entering a house during a robbery when he did not participate in that specific crime. Despite his protests, the ghost is ultimately found guilty and sentenced to 12 years in prison, prompting him to contemplate the consequences of his criminal lifestyle. The ghost reveals that he faced additional charges related to shootings and other violent crimes. He talks about a specific incident where he was involved in a robbery that resulted in a man getting shot in the throat. Despite his denial of some of the charges, the ghost was ultimately convicted and sentenced to a total of 59 years in prison for multiple offenses. The ghost talks about his time in prison, highlighting the challenges he faced and the wake-up call he received during his incarceration. He shares insights into the harsh realities of prison life, including the loss of human interaction and the deceptive nature of appearances. He also discusses his involvement in violent incidents in prison, such as throwing a fellow inmate down the stairs, and the regret he feels for his past actions. During his time in prison, the ghost encounters Trident officers investigating gun crimes, leading to a visit to a police station for questioning. He recounts the interrogation and the pressure to cooperate with the authorities, despite maintaining his innocence in certain criminal activities. His interactions with law enforcement highlight the ongoing scrutiny and legal repercussions he faces as a result of his involvement in robberies and other illicit activities. The ghost reflects on the impact of his actions on his victims and the lives he has affected. He shares his attempts to reach out to his victims for restorative justice, seeking to apologize and make amends for the harm he caused. However, he acknowledges that not all victims were willing to engage in this process, highlighting the lasting consequences of his criminal activities. While in prison, the ghost underwent a period of self-reflection and growth. He describes how interacting with other inmates, including those with more severe criminal histories, helped him gain perspective on his own actions. He acknowledges that prison was a catalyst for his maturity and personal development, leading him to reassess his past choices and strive for redemption. The ghost continues by emphasizing the importance of taking responsibility for one's actions and learning from past mistakes. He shares his realization that the criminal lifestyle is not sustainable and often leads to destructive consequences. He expresses regret for the harm he caused and the lives he disrupted, highlighting the need for young individuals to reconsider their choices and avoid falling into a similar path. The ghost talks about his efforts to make positive changes in his life, including engaging in online coaching, personal training, and tutoring. He discusses his aspirations to start his own company and hire online coaches to promote his training system. He emphasizes the importance of giving back to the community and using his experiences to help others avoid making similar mistakes. The ghost reveals that his religious beliefs have played a significant role in his personal transformation and growth. He shares how his faith has helped him find peace and guidance in his journey towards redemption. He discusses the impact of religion on his mindset and behavior, highlighting the importance of acceptance and forgiveness in his path towards self-improvement. The ghost opens up about the challenges he faces, including moments of vulnerability and emotional struggles. He reflects on the difficulty of facing criticism and disappointment from others, especially when it comes to personal relationships. He acknowledges the impact of his past actions on his loved ones and the importance of learning from his mistakes. The ghost shares a message of hope and encouragement for the youth, urging them to make positive choices and learn from his story. He emphasizes the importance of resilience and perseverance in the face of adversity, reminding listeners that life is full of ups and downs. He encourages young people to believe in themselves and strive for a better future, despite the challenges they may face.